Hey everybody, Ryan here. Alright, gonna go over two NHL playoff games from today, the 5th of June, 2021. Alright, if you have not done so already, hit that subscribe button. Helps me out, helps this channel out, and also hit that like button as well. Helps get the videos out there more and more likes we get. Alright, let's get started. First game of the day was a morning game, more so, between Carolina and Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay takes a 3-1 series lead. Taking a commanding lead in this series is definitely going to help them in the long run. Do I think Carolina can still come back? I think if there was anybody, I think I'd say they're one of the top choices right now. But with the injuries they have to Trocheck and who is the other one? There was a bigger name injury for them. Oh, Niederreiter isn't playing right now either. Who is a pretty clutch playoff guy, amazingly. I know he's not the greatest offensive guy in the regular season, but in the playoffs he seems to be very clutch. But missing those guys is definitely hurting them, and they just cannot figure out defensively, and their goaltending is not doing it at this point. So that's where we stand with Tampa right now, because this is the most goals they've allowed since the Florida series. Alright. Anyways, let's get to the scoring. First period, 14-24 in, Braden Point, 7th of the playoffs from Andre Palat and Eric Chernak. Then, at 4:30 of the second, Carolina ties it. Teuvo Teravainen second from Stahl and Svechnikov. At 5:09, Carolina takes the lead. Jesper Foss, first of the playoffs, that's kind of surprising to me, from Jordan Martinook and Jacob Slavin. I don't know why I keep trying to say Jakob there. At 9:54 of the second, Tampa ties it at 2. Stamkos fourth on the power play from Killorn and Point. All right, next up was at 10:35, Carolina takes a 3-2 lead. Dougie Hamilton's 12th from Sebastian Aho and Andrei Svechnikov. Then at 12:41, Carolina would get their largest lead of the game, a 2-goal lead, 4-2 at this point. Slavin's first from Paquette and Lorentz. Then it goes all downhill from there for Carolina. Tampa fans, you'll be happy from here on out. 14:38 into the second, Nikita Kucherov makes it a 1-goal game, his 4th of the playoffs on the power play from Stamkos and Hedman. At 17:10 into the second, Tyler Johnson would tie the game with his first playoff goal from Ross Colton and Pat Maroon. Then 19:37, Tampa takes the lead, 5-4 at this point. Stamkos 5th on the power play from Kucherov and Cirelli. Tampa really coalesced defensively at this point. They didn't allow many, I'd say, grade A opportunities. There were some, but it was not as much as the second period. So, no goals for Carolina in that period. 6:01 into the third. Kucherov will get his 5th, second of the game, from Palat, making it 6-4. Your final score, Tampa with the 3-1 series lead going back to Carolina. Now, Kucherov has been a monster for them since he returned from injury. He obviously has been ready for some time, I'd imagine. So, 5 goals and 12 assists in these playoffs, 17 points. And they play, 10 games. 17 points in 10 games. He keeps that up, they're going to be a beast to reckon with, and I have underestimated them so far in 2 series. So, we'll see who they play next round. I may underestimate again. Who knows? Although they play Boston, I think I know who I'm going to pick there. If they do. If they play the Islanders, I think I still know who I'll pick. Alright. Tampa outshot Carolina 26-25. Carolina beat them in the faceoff dot 58-42. Carolina was 0-2 on the power play. Tampa 3-6. Obviously, the power play is what killed, or penalty kill is what killed Carolina in this game. Then, penalty minutes were 14-6, 14 for Carolina. Hits were 25-21 in favor of Carolina. Blocks 10-7 in favor of Tampa. And giveaways 5-1, Tampa with 5. Mrazek had 20 saves for a 7.69 save percentage. A god-awfully abysmal appearance or start for Mrazek. It definitely could have gone better. I can't say it was all his fault, but it's hard not to blame the goalie when you lose, right? It's always easier to blame them or the referees, or both sometimes. Vasilevsky had 21 saves for 840 save percentage in the victory. Good enough for the victory. Not a great start by his standards, but good enough. That's all that matters, right? All right. This series is 3-1 Tampa. I know I said it a couple times, but I'm just saying it just again, just in case you missed it before. All right. On to Boston versus the New York Islanders. New York Islanders beat Boston tonight 4-1, making this series tied 2-2. This is going to be a fun, long series, I have a feeling. All right. No scoring in the first. Second period, 3:57 into the second. David Krejci's first on the power play from Brad Marchand and David Pastrnak. At 6:38 of the second, Kyle Palmieri's fifth from Barzal and Eberle. Good to see Barzal getting a point. I know he had a goal last game, but that's good to see. 13:03 into the third, Barzal scores what would end up being the game-winning goal. His second of the playoffs from Mayfield and Dobson. I'll tell you what, seeing Barzal score is going to help this team. They need that. Even if he's not scoring critical goals, yes, he did today. But even if he's not scoring those critical goals, like even if he had added one of those 2 empty netters, it would have done something for their psyche, I have a feeling. So I think this team may be riding high going back to Boston. We'll see. Because it is in Boston. And so far they've traded off 1 win in each team's stadium. So we'll see how this works out. All right, 18:57 into the third, Casey Zizekas would score a second from Clutterbuck into the empty net. Then 19:57, John Gabriel Pageau scores third from Leo Komarov, also into the empty net. I forgot to mention, 2 fights in the first period. Scott Mayfield versus Taylor Hall. Now, I have not seen these fights yet because I, unfortunately, was at the store when this first period occurred. But just looking at that, I think Hall bit off more than he could chew. I don't think that was a good choice on his part. Next fight, more interesting. 9:23 of the first, Jared Tenorti versus Matt Martin. Tenorti is about 6'7". Martin, I think, is like 6'4", 6'5". Couple big boys fighting. So, and Martin, we know how good of a fighter he can be when he wants to fight. Which he does most of the time, but every once in a while. Sometimes he just pisses people off sometimes. Alright, but other than that, that's all that really was occurring in this game. Let's see. Islanders outshot the Bruins 34-29. Beat them in the faceoff dot 51-49. Bruins 1 for 3 on the power play. Islanders 0 for 2. Penalty minutes 16-14. 16 for the Islanders. Hits were 30-27 in favor of the Islanders. Blocks 20-13 in favor of Boston. And giveaways 11-9, 11 for the Islanders. Tuukka Rask had 30 saves for a .938 save percentage in the loss. Another solid game. It just happens sometimes. Varlamov had 28 saves for .966 save percentage in the victory. Alright, that is all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that subscribe button and also hit that like button. Make sure to comment and share, and I will see you all next video. Bye, everybody.